Hello, everybody. Welcome. This is week 5 of the sharing circle that I've been hosting. It's called the Empower Hour. This is week 5. This is the 5th of 5 that I was originally going to do. The purpose here, I've been on such a transformational journey. It's been epic. I've transformed almost every aspect of my life completely. Many aspects have been completely transformed. Other aspects, of course, I'm still working on. It's a lifelong journey. And so the point of this is to share where I came from, where I am now, and to bridge the gap in the middle, what I did to heal. What have I done to transform? So thank you for joining. My name's Jody. And just a little recap, if you haven't watched the first 4 weeks, I invite you to go back and do so. I've been sharing my journey. I've been sharing what I've done to heal. I've been sharing where I came from, where I am now. So just a little recap. I started with sharing a little bit about where I came from, which was hell. Just to say that right here, right now. I was living in hell for a long time, and I hit rock bottom. Woke up strapped to a hospital bed 12 years ago at the end of May in 2010. And it's been quite the journey to get from where I was to where I am now. Just recently, I called that journey from hopelessness to awesomeness. And so this is the final Empower Hour. Thank you for joining. Today, I'm going to talk about the power of connection. Apparently, I'm feeling a little discombobulated because what I wanted to do was share with you a recap of the first 4 weeks. So I'm going to do that now. So week 1, I shared a little bit about my journey, where I came from, and the power of mantras, specifically the Love, Peace, Harmony mantra. I wanted to start there because when I started singing Love, Peace, Harmony on a regular basis, I was in hell, and I had been there for a very long time. I was already off of all of the psych meds, the 13 meds that I came off of, but I was really, 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 really sick and really, really, really upset about it. And so that's why I started with the powerful mantra of Love, Peace, Harmony. It's since become my favorite song. I still sing it every day. It just keeps getting better and better. The more I sing it, the more I love it, the more my life transforms. And one of the beauties of Love, Peace, Harmony is it's not just about transforming my life. As I sing, those frequencies and vibrations go out. So I'm helping myself and I'm helping others by spreading those high frequencies. Also, I talked about the power of stepping into the driver's seat. I spoke a little bit about Say Hello Healing. And then in week 2, I talked about the power of food as medicine, the power of fasting, and the power of listening to your body. In week 3, I talked about the power of breath work, the power of chakras, energy centers, and the 5 elements. Week 4, I talked about the power of focus and the importance of where we place our focus. I talked about the power of forgiveness, the power of letting go and surrender, and the power of gratitude. This week, I'll talk about the power of connection. So each of these talks has been just a little glimpse into what I've used, what I've utilized, the tools in my belt, how I've transformed. This transformation is available to everybody who's willing to do the work. There are communities out there that you can join to do the work. And this is part of what I'm going to talk about today, the power of connection. The power of connecting to a community who is doing the same work that you want to do. The power of connecting to yourself. The power of connecting to your body. I'm going to talk about the power of connecting to the present moment. I'm going to talk about the power of connecting to a higher power, whether this is God, Tao, divine, the universe, the sun, the moon, any soul higher than you, whatever that looks like to you. And I'm also going to talk about the power of connecting to the field that is all around us. And then at the end, I have a special connection that I want to talk about. All of these connections are special. The one at the end isn't any more special than the other ones. So I'll start with talking about connecting to a community, because part of these sharing circles has been me sharing my journey. So in 2014, September of 2014, I was handed a book with an invite in it. And at this time in my journey, I had come so far. I had gotten off of all of the meds. I had been exited from psychiatry. My file had been closed. But I was still hopeless. I was so sick, physically sick from the withdrawal, mentally exhausted, and really quite desperate for help. My doctor was not helpful. The hospital was not helpful. Even my friends and family weren't very helpful. I was hopeless. I was looking for help and I hadn't found it yet. So from this place of hopelessness, I jumped into something that was super weird to me. And I joined a community of people who were singing this song called Love, Peace, Harmony. And in the beginning, looking back on this, it's so amazing because I was so disconnected from myself, so disconnected from community. I was isolated. I had been isolated. And so one of the first things that struck me about this group of people that I joined was their genuineness. I had never experienced a group of people who were so genuine. I had never even experienced a few people that were genuine, but this was a whole room of them. We would gather once a week and sit in a circle, do this weird thing called an invocation, and sing this song. And it was so joyful. All of these people were so joyful and so welcoming. And they really, I say the word genuine because they really wanted to help me. And they didn't seem to have any hidden motivations. In my journey before that, all of the people that I knew, all of the people that offered to help, they all had this hidden motive. Something was in it for them. So this group of community, this group of people that I joined, this community, they just genuinely wanted me to have what they had. And it was so bizarre to me. I was so mistrustful. I was so skeptical. I was so cynical. And I stuck with it. I had to take this risk because in my place of hopelessness, I needed to do something way outside of the box. And so that was my first connection to a community. Community is something that I had been missing all of my life. I didn't even have a sense of community in my family. I felt quite isolated. And so joining a community, I think, is one of the most important things on this healing journey. We cannot do it alone. It takes a village to do many things. And this is one of those things. It takes a village to heal. So finding a community is so important, but not just any community. A community that is going the same direction you want to go. There's lots of communities online on Facebook that, with their greatest intentions, aren't going where I would like to go. I'm very solution focused, solution orientated, and goal orientated. And so specifically, I'm speaking about the support groups on Facebook. It's really great to know that there's other people out there suffering as you suffer. It's very validating to know that you're not alone. But this is not the kind of community that will actually help you heal. Because it's been my experience that a lot of these communities are not actually moving forward on their healing journeys. They're just complaining about their present circumstance. And while I get this, we need a voice, we need a platform to be able to air, to be able to vent, and to be able to seek validation. This is very important. But the kind of community I'm talking about, the power of connecting to a community, we need to connect to a community, in my opinion, to people who are going where we want to go, not people who are staying where we don't want to stay. And there are communities out there. I invite you to look. I invite you to connect with me if you're stuck, if you're struggling. I know of a few communities that will welcome you with open arms because we are moving forward, solution orientated, solution and goal focused, moving forward out of the hell that we're experiencing. The people that you surround yourself with have the power to lift you up, drag you down, or keep you stuck. This is a fact. This isn't just my opinion. So I invite you to find a community that is going where you want to go and connect. So another really powerful place to connect to is the present moment. All we have is now, now, now. The present moment, right now. Not then, not then, but now. This is where our power is. Focusing on the past is it's not going to change anything. Focusing on the future does have some power. I talked about that last week. Focusing on your goals, that's a form of focusing on the future. But quite often when we focus on the future, we're doing it in a worrisome or anxiety-ridden way. So focusing on the present moment, being mindful, being present, right here, right now. This is where all of our power is. If you want to change something or transform something, focusing on right here, right now is where you're going to be able to do that. The now actually is the only time there is. It's all about now. There's lots of different theories out there about time. And I'm not going to get into that here. Maybe that'll be one of my shorter YouTube videos in the future. But right now, I just really want to anchor in the power of this present moment. What can I do right now? This is where the power is. Another powerful connection point is to connect into the higher power. What do I mean by higher power? Many things can be meant by higher power. When I started on this journey, I was an atheist. I was raised as an atheist. And so when I first started singing Love, Peace, and Harmony, and they did this, what I just referred to as a weird thing called an invocation, we were connecting to a higher power. And because this was way outside of my box of possibilities, my realm of understanding, it was so weird. And I've since learned the power of connecting to my higher power. I no longer identify as being an atheist. I now identify as being quite spiritual because I've learned to connect to a higher power. There's many words that we can use for our creator. The Christians call it God. The Taoists call it Tao. The Buddhists call it Buddha. There's the word Allah. There's the word Muhammad. Those are all from religions. A lot of spiritual people will say the universe or the source. I've heard it called the Force, as in from Star Wars. So whatever word you use, it doesn't matter. All of those words are talking about the same energy. That is our creator. I quite often use the word Tao, just as often as I use the word God or divine. These are just words. So don't get caught up on the words. Whatever resonates with you, whatever you've been connected with, that's perfect. The point here is not to convince you or to sway you or to convert you to anything other than what you're already doing. It's an invite to connect deeper to what you're already doing or to find something new, to connect to that. Connecting to the self. Connecting to our body. So When I was really, really, really sick, one of the things that I struggled with was dissociation. Because my world was so painful, I was always trying to escape. And one of the ways that we escape, one of the ways that I escaped, was to just dissociate. I disconnected from my body. And so learning to reconnect, I'm still learning to reconnect. It's had become my habit to be disconnected. And some habits run deeper than others. So quite often I am connected to my body, but then also quite often I recognize that I'm not connected. So connecting back into the body, I find it's been my experience has been a huge part of healing myself. Because in order to learn how to listen to the body, as I spoke about a few weeks ago, we need to be connected there. And so I also want to talk about the power of connecting to the field. Now, this is an amazing thing. I'm still working on wrapping my mind around it. This amazing thing that I understand as the field. So, this is part of connecting to a higher power. And so this journey that I started 7 years ago, almost 8 years ago, started with singing Love, Peace, and Harmony. Learning to connect to a higher power, and then doing practices while connected to this higher power, bringing in the frequencies, the love and the light from that higher power into our bodies is a major part of what I share on how to heal. And so that higher power is a field. Everything is a field, actually. I am a field. You are a field. The ocean is a field. We can feel this field when we tune in. Have you ever noticed that the ocean, when you go down to the ocean, it feels different than when you go into the forest? That's because they each carry a unique field. Have you ever noticed that each city you travel to feels differently? That's because each city has a field. They carry their own frequency and vibration, just as you do and I do, and the ocean and the forest does. So my teacher, Dr. and Master Zhigong Sha, he talks about connecting to the Tao field. And this field is everywhere. It's all around us. It includes all of the other fields. And so really, this is the highest power that we can connect to, in my opinion. All of the practices that I do, the practices that I lead, the practices that I join, we all have this as a major part of our invocation. We connect to the field. Because when we connect to a frequency and a vibration that is higher than ours, we can transform our low frequency into high frequency. Another way to say that is when we connect to a frequency higher than ours, we can transform our negativity into positivity. And this is how we heal. We do this physically. We can heal our physical body. We can heal our emotional body. We can heal our mental body. We can heal our spiritual body. We can heal our finances, our relationships, and every aspect of our lives by connecting to a field that's higher than ours. So you might be wondering at this point, okay, that's great. So we can connect to all of these things. Connect to a community, ourselves, the present moment, a higher power, the field. How do we do that? Well, aside from connecting to a community, that's a physical thing. You find the community and you join. You join in, you connect, you participate, you communicate. The other connections, I like to use breath work for this. I like to use the power of intention. I like to use the power of prayer, also known as invocation, to invoke. So I invite you at this time to join me. Let's make a connection. Let's connect by using our breath power. Connect to the present moment. Let's connect to ourselves. Let's connect to each other, connecting to our higher power and the field. We can do all of this in one simple practice. It's called a practice because you do it over and over and over again. This is not a quick fix or a one-stop shop. It's something that you learn and you practice and you repeat. And each time you do it, it gets easier. Each time you do it, it gets more powerful. Each time you do it, you have the opportunity to transform, to let go of what you no longer want to carry. So if you'll allow me, if you're interested, I invite you to please join me. I'll take you through a short practice. We can connect. This is simple and powerful. We can do it together. We can do it by ourselves at any time, but it's way more powerful when you do it in a group. So we start by sitting up straight in our chair. Back away from the chair if you can. Placing your feet flat on the floor. And let's take a couple of deep breaths. First, let us connect to the present moment. So taking a couple of deep breaths all the way down into your abdomen, allowing your abdomen to expand as you breathe in and contract as you breathe out. You can also do this lying down or standing, but if you're sitting, it's best to have your back away from the chair. So taking in a couple of deep breaths, and let's just settle into this present moment. Taking a deep breath in, and as we exhale, letting go of all that we were doing before. Another deep breath in, letting go of all that we have to do later. Another deep breath in. This is settling into the present moment. Nothing before, nothing later, just right here, right now. So let's just take a couple of deep breaths and practice this. When you have thoughts come up, just let them go. Like a wave, they come and they go. There's no need to attach to them. We can let them come up and let them go as we settle into this present moment. And now that we're right here, right now, let's focus on our breath, connecting to ourself, connecting to the breath, feeling the breath come in through our nose, down our throat, into our lungs and our belly, all the way down to the belly. Feeling your abdomen expand, pulling down the diaphragm, sucking the air into our lungs. Really feeling that. The air comes in, the air goes out. We're pulling down the diaphragm to suck the air in. When we do that, our belly expands out. We allow the diaphragm to move back up, pushing the air out of our lungs. This is so simple. We're just focusing on our breath. Again, as the thoughts come in, just be aware of them and let them go. No need to attach to anything. Bringing our attention back to the breath, focusing all of our attention on the breath, feeling the air come in and out, feeling our abdomen expand and contract, connecting to our physical body, feeling it, allowing the thoughts to come up and go out as they want, focusing on the breath, continuing to refocus on the breath. Also, if you're sitting in your chair with your feet flat on the floor, you can feel your feet on the floor. This is very grounding. Feeling your feet on the floor as you take a couple of deep breaths. Connecting further into this present moment. Connecting further into your body. Letting go of all that we were doing before. Letting go of all that we must do later. Letting go of all of the thoughts that may be coming up. Just focusing